let me tell you
Class engine.
how annoyed I am.
Early one morning, Percy
This
arrived
is
back at Tidmouth
the
Sheds,
longest
very tired.
story in this entire game.
Morning, Percy, said Thomas.
It was over 30
You do
minutes,
look
and we weren't
tired.
even done yet in the last recording,
Yes, I am.
or the last
said
episode
Percy
here.
sleepily.
And
I was up all night delivering the mail.
the game told
Seems
me,
like there are more
I
letters
went
and
back to
parcels
replay it
than
just to make sure
ever.
I was right in this. The game told, and ironically, I was literally talking about
Not
Percy
only a little
derailing
engine, no wonder you struggled to
and
manage
launching
those heavy
unexpectedly
vans. Perhaps Sir Topham Hatt should give the
in a way
dogs
that like
another
made
engine,
sense.
or even
It was
Harold.
annoying, but it made
I'm
sense.
sure they could manage the work.
The game literally told me
I can
that I
manage
could be
fine
going,
on my own,
I think it was
thank
like
you,
70
said
something
Percy
miles an
firmly.
hour, right? Or like 70 or 80 miles an hour
Perhaps,
safely. Like
said a voice.
the
You
speedometer
could do
told
with a
me,
little
like
help,
that's where the thing
Percy.
was. Like, oh, the target range right now is like, or at
It
least
was
that's
Sir
how I've been
Topham
reading
Hatt,
that
who had
red
just arrived
tick mark.
and had heard
That
everything.
it's like the target range or the target speed for this
James,
section of
you
track.
think another engine should help take the mail?
So like
I
it told me
think
I could
that's
go
a
up to like
very
75,
good
80
idea,
miles an
and I'm
hour.
sure
I was
Percy
going
wouldn't
like
mind
60
the
miles an
lighter
hour and
workload
picking
for
up
a while.
speed. There was like it wasn't even like a
Percy
sharp
was
turn.
pleased,
It was, I mean, I guess it
and
was kind
James
of
looked
a
smug.
quick little like S
That
turn
was
type of
until
thing,
Sir Topham Hatt
but it
got
wasn't
to eat.
crazy. And then just out of the blue,
I'm
James just
assigning both
lifted
you
off the
and
track.
Percy to tonight's mail
And
route.
now we have to
You can
redo the
help and collect
entire
all the
level,
letters and
which was about a
parcels that need to
30-minute
go to
long
the
level.
mailbox.
And we were on to the last stint of
James
said
was
chapter,
horrified.
which is so freaking annoying.
But sir, he protested, I'm supposed to be taking the express in the morning, and I can't do that if I've been
Like, I
busy
think
all night
that
following
is like the
mail
most,
train.
the biggest downfall of the game,
I'm
is that
sure
you have to
Emily wouldn't
redo the
mind taking
entire
the
level.
express in your place,
If
James,
for like one little
replied Sir
dumb
Topham Hatt.
blunder or mistake,
Now
or
the
even in this case,
decision is
following what the
so I'll
game
hear
tells
no
me to
more
do,
about it.
essentially.
And Sir Topham Hatt turned and walked away.
Then it makes you redo the entire 30-minute level. Like, there's no checkpoints, which I guess, like, again, as like a railroad simulator, you don't get checkpoints in real life, right? If you crash your train, you're donezo. So it
Later
makes
that
sense
night,
that a scenario would have to
James
be
and
reworked
Percy
from the
collected
beginning.
their mail vans and were
but,
waiting
like,
for them to be loaded at Knapford Station.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like, if I was just into it again, like, if there was no narrative, if I could skip the cutscenes, that might also be a little bit better. Because, like, now we're, for example, right now,
James,
I've been rambling about this for over 3 minutes, or about 3 minutes, just hit 3 minutes in the recording.
Sometimes the mail will arrive by road, so you have to be patient and wait for the van
I guess I get to
arrive
listen to
and
this
be
again,
loaded into
but,
your train
or for the first time, because I
before you
ignored it the
leave.
first time. Not that it was relevant.
But James was too busy
but
thinking
yeah,
about
like,
getting back to his shed
we're over
and
3
waking
minutes
up
now
to
of
pull
just
the
this
morning
narrative.
express.
That, like, I could have been on the rails
Just
by
then,
now. I could have been
God's whistle blew.
halfway to my first
2
destination in
engines
this
set
amount of
off.
time, but instead I haven't even started yet. So, like, even if you
Good
are,
luck, James.
even if you
said
are going to
Percy.
increase the difficulty in that regard by
I'll manage
having
fine,
you have
thank
to
you,
restart the
James
entire
grumbled.
scenario upon failure,
Silly Percy, thinking I can't manage a few bags of
it's
mail.
still pretty crazy to then
Don't be
have to
that
also go
difficult.
through the entire story again, like that entire narrative again. Boom, almost 4 minutes of narrative to start it off. Come on, Bert, come on. There we go. Now the throttle unlocked. So now we're going to do the opposite of that, of what we did last time. It was over 30 minutes long, and we were on to the last stint, and then we derailed randomly. So right now it says, if you look at the speedometer, right, there's a little red tick on there, on the outside, that says, that's like just at 25 miles an hour. And maybe that's what this means too. This little checkbox says 25 miles an hour, right? So I'll have to go back and look. Because then, oh, so maybe that's the speed limit. I don't think it ever introduced or ever, like, explained that. But the speedometer still says that we should be going maximum, you know, as I'm reading it, like the speed limit is 50, right? Maybe it's when you pass this mark, that's when it bumps up to 70. Let's see. No. Yes, kind of. Maybe it's like when your whole train passes that thing. Okay, so now I think we're kind of understanding now, in the last level of this game, we're starting to understand some of the nuances. So those are just blatant signals. So sometimes they're stop, sometimes they're go. Pretty straightforward. But like, in a section where we just failed, the speed limit was like 75 or something. Or maybe it was even higher than that. And we were going well below what the speedometer, like the little red tick mark on the speedometer, implied was the current speed limit, right? So even if there was a checkbox that was like, oh, go 15 here, that would be like, that would imply that the speed limit after that point was 15 miles per hour. Not like going into that point, 15 miles per hour. You know what I mean? Like you would assume that whatever is on your current speedometer is the current speed limit. And then when you enter a new region that requires a new speed limit, that would update. Not update after you pass the speed limit and already derail. Because that, I mean, at that point, you're screwed already, as we saw. You're lifting off the frickin' rails. And it happened so quickly, too. Like, it wasn't even just like a, oh man, we're leaning. It was just like a, by the way, you're in midair now. You're just randomly jackknifing. Oh god, and I just failed again. We're gonna blow right past this station. Holy crap, dude. Wait. Oh, but the objective was failed, but... Can we turn around and go get it? We're about to find out. Oh, no, there's a... So we just missed mail? And that's just okay? Do we just pick up more at the next stop? Am I just trapped here now? I don't know what's happening. I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm not trapped, really, but... But also, I kind of am. What happens now, dude? What am I stopping and waiting for? Did I just brick the game? I'm gonna fly over here while that's waiting. Oh yeah, I can't go any further. How long should I wait before I just assume that I bricked the game? I do. I think I bricked the game. Like, I think the assumption is, like, you just keep flying through here if you miss the objective. I think I have to restart again. Damn it, dude.
First class engine.
We're gonna finish this thing. Part of me wanted to restart the game anyway once I missed that objective, because, like, I don't want to just fail an objective. I was just kind of curious, though, like, okay, what comes next then? And I guess the answer is, like, you actually physically can't progress. Like, I thought in the past, if you failed an objective, it would automatically restart like that was it, right?
Delivering the mail. It seems like
But
there are more letters and parcels than ever.
I don't know. I'm getting frustrated now.
Soft,
The
James.
last level, dude.
You're only a little engine. No wonder you struggle to
We almost
manage those
finished
heavy
it
vans.
flawlessly, and then the game was like,
Perhaps a top-up
just
crew
kidding,
should
you're
give it a job for
jackknifing and
another
flying off the
engine,
rails.
or even
And now
Harold.
it's like,
I'm sure they could manage the work.
even the game didn't see that one coming.
I can
So now the
manage
game doesn't
fine
even know
on my
handle.
own, thank you,
What's that? And now
said
I'm just an
Percy
idiot and I'm
firmly.
making dumb mistakes. I'm like speeding so fast to try to catch up to
Perhaps,
where I
said the
once
voice,
was.
You could do with a little help, Percy. It was Sir Topham Hatt, who had just arrived and had heard everything.
Mm-hmm.
James, you think another engine should help take the mail. I
Crazy.
think that's a very good idea, and I'm sure Percy wouldn't mind the lighter workload for a while. Percy was pleased, and James looked smug. That was until Sir Topham Hatt continued. I'm assigning both you and Percy
And also,
to
for
tonight's
reference,
mail run.
these
You
stories
can help
are
them collect
like,
all the letters and parcels that need to
they're
go to the
sweet and
mail
endearing, but they're very like young
James
kid
was
oriented, like a
horrified.
Thomas, like a regular Thomas story would be.
What
And like,
say? He
that is
protested.
not
I'm supposed to be taking the
that is not
express
something
in
that
the
detracts
morning,
from the game,
and
I wouldn't
can't do
say.
that if I've
In
been
fact,
busy
like, if
all
it was
night
anything
pulling
other
the
than
mail
that,
train.
it would be kind of disappointing. This feels like a true blue
I'm sure Emily wouldn't
Thomas
mind
the Tank
taking the
Engine game.
express in your place, James.
The reason I bring that up,
Replied
though,
Sir Topham
is like,
Now the decision is final. So I'll
when
hear
you have
no
when you're
more
forced to
about it.
listen to the beginning of the story 3 times
Topham
in its
Hatt
entirety
turned
and you
and
aren't
walked
able to
away.
skip it, that's when it gets kind of like, okay, let's get this show on the road, shall we?
Later that night, James and Percy had collected their mail vans and were waiting
Crap.
for them to be loaded at Knapford Station. Percy was trying to explain to James what he had to do, but James was taking no notice.
Pressing all the buttons to see if I can skip.
James, you must remember to collect
Nope.
all the bags of mail at each station, explained Percy. Sometimes the mail will arrive by road, so you have to be patient and wait for the van to arrive and be loaded
Oh.
into your train before
Oh, that's a
you leave.
face.
But James was too busy thinking
Did Percy
about
always make
getting
that
back to
goofy
his
face
shed
at that
and
part of the
waking
story?
up to pull the
I don't
morning
remember.
express.
I don't remember that. That was weird.
Just then,
Look at him over
guard's
there.
whistle blew,
Miserable.
and the 2 engines set off. Good luck, James, said Percy. I'll manage fine, thank you, James grumbled. Silly Percy, thinking I can't manage a few bags of mail. It can't be that difficult.
Okay. This time for real. What's happening? There we go. Okay, so all right, so let's kind of take this time to learn about the game, shall we? And hopefully not screw up anymore. So 25 miles an hour is what the speed limit is right now according to my speedometer. And it's what is up here on this thing here. So in theory, this should not change anything. But then it randomly does. It randomly pops up to 50 miles an hour. Which doesn't make any sense. So what I once thought I understood about this game is suddenly not what I understood. And now will this bump it up to 70 miles an hour? Or like... Yes. So I don't know what the deal was with that 25 back there. I think that 25 was supposed to be a 50. I don't know. I think it was a 50 last time. I'm just going to take it nice and easy, though. toot my whistle. I'm just not going to trust the game is what is the bottom line. It's going to be a long trip, but it's going to be a long leisurely trip that we don't fuck up at the end. We're just gonna like hang around 50 miles an hour. So in theory, 50 miles an hour means in 30 minutes we should be able to go about 25 miles, right? That's basic math. So, like, if each spot along the road here is, or each, like, trip here between stations is about 2 miles, 2 to 3 miles. Yeah, maybe that adds up. Because we were almost at like 30 mile, or 30, we passed the 30-minute mark in our failed attempt last time. So to imply we went 25 miles in that period of time feels kind of incorrect, but maybe. I mean, obviously we also stopped for a bit to like grab mail at each stop and for freaking more narrative, but...
Right, let's get all this mail loaded into the vans. Then we can be on our way.
Oh, I discovered another whistle.
That's all the mail from this station. Let's get going. The sooner we finish collecting all this mail, the sooner
I am certainly
can
not
get
going to
back
wait for him
my
to
ship.
stop talking before I take off. Unless the sign explicitly says stop and wait. I ain't stopping and waiting for nothing. Got a deadline to meet. And the deadline is me finishing this freaking game without any more derailments or just general sad failures. Based on strictly me not paying attention. We've already made it past where we failed last time, so we're in good shape. As long as we don't make it to the last stint and derail on that one straight piece of track again, we'll be in good shape. And I know it wasn't, like, straight. There was, like, an S-curve in it. We were, like, changing tracks. But, like, still, it was so sudden and, you know, unexpected. And the game did not give me any inkling that that was even a possibility at that point in the track. It was like, hey, Slowpoke, why are you in the slow lane? Why are you going so slow around this turn when the speed limit is 75? Oh, just kidding. You're off the rails. You're dead. You and everybody... Well, there are no passengers on this train. But you and all the mail, the first-class mail is ablaze, and nobody's getting their mail now to the mainland. Oh. You get points for being under the speed limit. See, plus 65 AP. I thought, in the beginning, I thought, like, the speed limit was 65 miles per hour, and you were getting I got points every time, you know, I was under 65 miles per hour, which is why I was confused why I was still collecting points when I was going over 60 miles per hour earlier. Yeah, the game teaches you how to drive the train, and it doesn't really teach you anything else. It kind of just it assumes that you already played their main game, like Rail Simulator or whatever, Rail Sim, whatever their other game is called. It kind of implies that you've already played that one, and therefore you're familiar with like the signage systems and what have you. And so it just teaches you the basics of like, this is how you drive your train. Good luck and Godspeed.
It looks like the station master is waiting for us. Hello, James, said the station master. Some of the mail arriving by road has been delayed, so you'll need to wait for it to arrive. In the meantime, here is the rest of the mail for you. Bother, muttered James. This is sure to make me late now.
Again, so this station, right, where we're waiting on more
Come on,
mail.
Driver. We can't afford to be late.
At this station where we're waiting on more mail, there's a whole crap ton of mail. But then at the next station where we're like the mail that we were waiting on here, the extra mail arrives, there's no additional mail. Like there's no mail already at that station. We just stop at that station for no reason, and then we pick up what was left over from the road. It's weird. So, like, all the mail, in theory, if we waited, all the mail would have been at that last station, and there would be 0 pieces of mail to pick up at this next upcoming station. Like, had we waited for the car to arrive. But anyway. We're going uphill a little bit here, so we're going to step on the gas and keep our speed up. But not too fast now. We don't want to derail if we come up to an unexpected S-curve or something. This looks like just like miles of straight track. But as you can see, the speed limit is currently at like 70. And that's what I'm doing. Feels like we could be going faster because it is, you know. Also, I'm still getting points for going under the speed limit, and I don't think I am now. Unless the speed limit is 75. But again, you watching the speed limit, like, I guess if we were on that main track in the middle, we could just blaze through here, and 75 would be the speed limit, but, like, it does lead you astray when the thing says it's 75 miles an hour, and you have to stop right up here. But like I said, I guess if you're not stopping, the speed limit's 75. But that also feels incorrect, because it's a station. So and there is no middle track here. On that side there is. But like on this side, there's no middle track, so it's not like you can just pull through here and not be scraping against a platform at 70 miles an hour.
As James arrived at Marin Station, the station master ran up to him, looking rather upset. James, he said, I've had a phone call from the station master at Wellsworth, and he tells me that you didn't wait for the mail to arrive by road. James felt foolish.
There's also a piece of the puzzle that we're not acknowledging here.
No.
And maybe this is just my adult brain playing a Thomas the Tank Engine game that's assessing this, and I'm looking too far into it. I'm pulling too many strings, too many threads. But the station master here is really reprimanding
time,
James
James listened
for
carefully,
leaving
and
without
suddenly an idea
permission or
came to
without
him.
waiting, right? But like,
If I deliver all the
by all
important
accounts, when I
mail,
step on the gas, my fire
then I'm
master or
sure
whatever
Sir Topham Hatt will say I'm
is
really
the one
useful.
that's like
Maybe even
actually
more useful than Percy.
driving James, right? He's the one that's
Don't worry,
flipping,
sir, said
you know,
James to the station master.
the brakes
I
and or
promise I'll
pulling the
wait for the
brakes and
mail to
pulling the
arrive
gas or
and
whatever.
make
Like,
sure it gets to the mainland
he's
in
the
time.
one driving, so he should be the one being reprimanded, not
That's a good
not
engine,
the
smiled the
train
station
that
master.
is.
The
I
mail
don't
won't
know.
be long now, so you'll soon be on your way again. So James waited for the mail to arrive.
I guess there's just like that
He didn't
the
have to wait
conversation
long.
that's never really
He heard a
had,
car horn
whether or
coming
not
from
these
nearby,
trains are
and
autonomous or
then
not.
watched as a red post van pulled into the station car park.
Like, are these trains able to move on their own without a fire master here, or not? And if they are, why would they even have a fire master here? Is that the right word? Fire master? Whatever. Doesn't matter. The bottom line is,
Soon the important mail was loaded, and James puffed quickly away.
the bottom
He was
line is,
determined to
why
make
would
up
you
for
even
lost
have
time,
him here? See,
but was
look.
even more determined
I mean,
to
he's not
prove that
manually
he
doing
could
it,
be as
but like
patient
the
as
lever
well.
is switching. Like, you know, the controls are back there as they would be on a real train. So to imply that James is the bad egg here is to ignore that there is a literal man inside James controlling James. That's all. Feels like nobody ever really acknowledges that. At least not in these narratives. I feel like 50 miles an hour is a good cruising speed, right? In case of a sudden stop or in case of a sudden S turn. Oops. I didn't mean to change the camera angle. Just put my controller down there. Oh, we're going over this bridge now, too. Hold up. Can I get a really cool cinematic view? Not really. Oh god, this is so much worse, actually. Fine, whatever. Alright, approaching the next station here. Oh, this is the first of two, I think, that I have to go across the pedestrian bridge. See, there's always something there, and yet there's nothing there. It, like, blocks me. There's, like, an invisible force there. I don't know what the deal is. There it was again. It's fine. It's whatever. I don't know what I'm running into. Off to the next. Kildane Platform 1. I'm gonna give it a little bit more gas this time, maybe crank it to 60 miles per hour. Speed limit is apparently 75. Oh wait, never mind, I kid, because this next station is apparently right here. Figures the time that I was about to floor it. Okay. Is this another one where we have to run up on here? Yep, getting snagged on random things that aren't real and don't exist. Getting pushed to the right when there's nothing to my left to run into. I don't know what that just was. I'm stuck. I'm literally stuck. On what? On what? So the game is not without flaws, obviously. Still a lot of fun to play. But, checkpoints. I could get by, like, all these goofy little things where I'm running into invisible nothings. I'm sure there's some kind of reason why that, like, not why it exists, but, like, I'm sure they probably had, like, a trash can or something ornate on that platform, and then it was like, oh, well, we gotta delete this so it doesn't inhibit players from just doing the basic tasks of this level. You know what I mean? But then they deleted the object and didn't delete the boundary that they put around it or whatever the deal is. I'm sure there is some reason why that weirdness exists, from a development standpoint. But the checkpoint system, that is just a massive oversight, in my opinion. Not necessarily a game-breaking oversight, but it's definitely a replay value breaking oversight, for me at least. Because I don't mind these levels with these long journeys, but when you spend 30 minutes and you get to the end, then you derail and you have to start over again, that sucks. If it took me to the last station I had reached, that would have been fine. Or maybe it's just a matter of, like, if you want to maintain that authenticity of having to, like, restart the scenario, just, like, offer two different difficulties, you know what I mean? Do you want to play with story mode with checkpoints, or, you know, without checkpoints? And just let the player decide how they want to proceed. Because, again, like, I think it's a Thomas the Tank Engine game, guys. Like, you would expect there to be a low point of entry. But also, as a grown man that I am, you would assume that I would be better at it than I am. Or at least better at focusing and whatever than I am. And you'd be wrong there, so I guess you'd be wrong at what I was saying earlier, too. It's fine. It's fine. We're making it happen. Oh, my whistle broke again. It's on fire. There we go. Fixed it. Alrighty, just a leisurely ride through the countryside. Don't want to get into any kind of deep, meaningful conversation or commentary because I'm afraid that it'll cause me to overshoot my station or something, or randomly derail, spontaneous combustion. Let me tell you, I'm gonna go slow as hell coming out of that last one though. It does feel like I'm lifting off the track a little bit from even rounding this turn. Can't really see my wheels all that well because it's so dark, but... just kind of assume that that's probably just the terrain and not actually me tilting. But maybe that's maybe assumptions like those are the ones that make you derail. Even though it blatantly says the speed limit on this line of track is 75 miles an hour. Feels unfair to make you derail at 50. And it's not like it's like a really sharp turn either, in fairness. No, because look, now, I mean, like now we're on a pure straightaway, and I'm still tilting or like slanted to the left a little bit. It seems. Maybe not. Maybe it's just the camera angle too. I got about 500 yards. Coming up on our next station, Kelsthorpe Road, Platform 1. So I guess we'll start slowing down a bit here. The destination is within sight. No derailing happening today. No siree, Bob. This isn't where the derailment happened anyway, though, but... Alright, on to the next. So right now, again, speed limit 75, or maybe, we'll say that's 70. But the game is saying that you can go 70 miles an hour. Croven's Gate, Platform 2. I feel like Croven's Gate is the one that we were leaving. And right there, 90? What was that 90 about? Oh, that's the speed limit now. Yeah, so that just changed the speed limit to 90 miles per hour. Does this look like a place that you should be going 90 miles per hour? It's literally pulling out of a station, first of all. And, like, it's like a straightaway, but it's also kind of a turn-ish over a bridge. Feels like 50 is the max I'm willing to push right now. To avoid a catastrophic derailment again. But I think Croven's Gate Platform 2 is the second to last one. I think that's the one that we were pulling out of when we derailed at maximum, or at not even maximum speed. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of speed here. Because it does look like we have a pretty solid straightaway now. Well, kind of. There's some gentle bends in it, but nothing derailable. He says, even though he knows that an S-turn that changes tracks right now could very easily randomly happen. Although I think, like, the right track would be oncoming traffic. So I think the left track here in, I guess, Sodor is considered, like, Great Britain, or not Great Britain, but, like, somewhere European, right? Like a European isle. So, like, they'd be driving on the left side of the street, so to speak. So then the right side would be oncoming traffic. Whereas in America, it'd be the opposite. I think. I think that's how railroads work. I think that's kind of like the same between railroads and regular roads, but I could be wrong. Start slowing down though, because I am going a little fast. Going a little fast over this last bridge, coming into the station. So you kind of have to just like ignore these things, not the stop and go signals, but like the speed limits. It seems like you kind of just have to ignore those because like those seem to be indicative of like the speed limit if you were just in free play, like you didn't have objectives. If you didn't have objectives, this is a 50-mile-per-hour stretch of track. You know what I mean? But if you have objectives where you have to stop, or you're switching tracks in any capacity, then suddenly those are totally irrelevant.
Just one more stop to make. Then
Okay.
we are finished for the night.
Yeah, this is it. Well, it does say 15 miles per hour over there, but if you look right now, it says we're still at 50 miles an hour. The speed limit, according to my speedometer, is still 50 miles per hour. Now I'm going to baby it. I'm going to go real slow. We're going to stick around 25 miles per hour. Because there are lots of tracks overlapping, and I know this is where somewhere in this area is where we derailed last time. So now I do see the speed limit here. But again, is irrelevant because it literally said 50 miles per hour the last. So, like, you can't take this at face value. You can't look at this and be like, oh, 15 miles per hour. That must be... See, 90, dude. 90 miles per hour, it says right here. Is that where we actually derailed? But again, the last speed limit... no, I think that 15 is where we derailed. So right now it's 90 miles per hour. This is the stretch of track we were on. We were going about 60 in this, like 50 to 60 miles per hour in this region that is marked 90 miles per hour speed limit. So not even close to the speed limit. No way to know that that this up here was going to be a jackknife. Because again, yes, it says, oh, at this point, maybe you're supposed to be going 15 miles per hour, right? I think this is where we derailed, so I'm going to go really freaking slow. At this point, it says 15, but, like, by the time it switches, like, that's where it switches the speed limit, by that point, you're already off the rails. You're already done. It's already game over. So, like, you can't look at that and be like, oh, that's, like, you have to be at that speed already in that one spot. I want to put that out there. At that one spot, you have to already be going that speed by the time you hit that marker, or else you're flying off the rails. However, you would think like, oh, that's pretty straightforward. Okay, so make sure you're going that speed limit, or that speed, by the time you hit that speed limit marker. Yes, except the one right before that was like 50 miles per hour or something. Or actually, the one before that was 90. So, like, you certainly aren't trying to hit 90 miles an hour before you hit that marker, or at any point around that marker. And also, when you were pulling into the station, that last station, it said 50 miles per hour. I'm pretty sure. And if you're aiming to hit 50 miles per hour by the time you hit that marker, you're screwed too, and you're going to miss your objective. So you almost have to completely ignore that and just hope for the best. Like, you have to really pay attention to, like, the landscape around you. And be like, oh, there's a turn coming up. We shouldn't be going too fast. You know what I mean? Because over there, it's saying I have to be going 15 miles per hour. Why? We won't know until we get there. And it might be a lie. So, like, if that said 90 miles per hour, it's like, okay, cool. Is there a reason why we should even humor the idea of going 90 miles per hour? No? Okay. I guess if it says 15, like, yeah, there's probably something over there, some kind of turn or some kind of bend or whatever, that's going to warrant that. But right now it's saying 50 miles per hour. I don't know if I would trust going 50 miles per hour around this turn. I'm not trying to fly off the rails again and hit a cow. And God forbid this changes lanes here. We didn't. Okay, we're fine. I was saying, if we were about to switch tracks right there, that could have been detrimental if we were going 50 miles per hour. And you don't know that you're not switching tracks until you get there and you don't switch tracks. Oh, you know what? Maybe we won't even reach that 15 over there. Actually, we probably will, because this is the last stop to pick up mail, I think. We probably have another stop to deliver the mail or something. Yeah. Oh, God. I like how all the mail is just, like, in sacks and just dumped unceremoniously. We're on the home stretch, guys. Stop at location Vicarstown, platform 4. Again, looks like in 1.4 miles, we have a 15 mile per hour speed limit. So I guess we'll figure out what that is, or why that exists. But right now the speed limit's about 50, but I'm not going 50. I'm going 36 because this is windy. This is like a windy country single lane railroad. And I don't trust it. Alright, well in this stretch I feel like I can go fast. Ish. Speed limit's 50, I'm going 45. Nice and cautious. Knowing that in whatever, I can't see how many miles that is. I think it's like 0.75, 0.8. I assume that it's like just after that go signal, but there's something that might warrant us going only 15 miles per hour, so I should slow down to that speed by the time I get there. Also, this looks like a nice sharp bend. Speed limit is still 50. But it looks like it might be able to kill me at 50. So I'm going to cautiously go around this turn around 40 miles per hour. Knowing that in a couple hundred yards I might have to be going 15. I'm really curious to see, like after all this, I'm curious to see if there is a reason for this to be 15 miles per hour. Because right now there's only one track. So unless it introduces another track. Is that another track over here? No. Yes. 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 So we're going to slam on the brakes here. So, yeah, look at this. 90 miles per hour. So I guess you're supposed to be going 15 around this bend. Right there, I guess. And now you can just randomly just like, alright, you're good. 90 miles per hour it is. But also, if you're going anything above 15 miles, or like, if you're going too fast leading into that 15 mile per hour marker, you're screwed. So, yeah, it's not... If it says 15 miles per hour, the implication is that you should be down to that speed before even approaching that marker. But then when the speed limit pops back up, then it's just like, yeah, whatever. feel free to proceed at 90 miles an hour. Going kind of slow through this tunnel because I literally can't see anything. It's literally just pitch black. Which I feel like I feel like this train should have a headlight or something. Doesn't it? It does. It just turned off for some reason. Okay. Like, it would have been nice to be able to see the rails, at least the rails in front of me, but fine. We're not going to screw it up this time. It's already like an hour-long episode. So this is like when I kicked out, when I derailed back there around the 30-minute mark. That was still not even, like, I thought that was at the very end of the story. It wasn't even the end. There were 2 more stops after that. It says like, oh, 1 more stop and then we're going back. But like going back is another stop. So right now I'm looking at the recording time and we're about 50 minutes in. And that was with a 10-minute, the first 10 minutes of this episode was an epic failure. Where I missed my objective. On the first objective. But yeah. So really we're about 40 minutes into the level. So this is I think arguably, or pretty easily, I think this is the... There's a stop and wait up ahead. This is easily the longest story of the game thus far. I mean, and I think it's the final one in the James add-on DLC. I guess we'll find out in a second here, shall we? Or won't we? Alright, so I think this is... Yeah, we're entering Vikerstown? I don't know the correct pronunciation. But at least the speed limit's 70 miles per hour, so once we clear this, we can just absolutely tear into town. Tell me why... This is the end of the rail, I think, or the end of the line, I'm pretty sure. And we're switching tracks. So tell me why I should be going 70 miles per hour now. Also, the speed limit's still 10 or 15, so why did it say 70 back there? It did not update. So those numbers are literally just useless numbers. Just meaningless, useless numbers. There's Sir Topham Hatt waiting for me, though.
James arrived at Vikerstown Station.
Vikerstown.
And was feeling pleased with himself. He
That's kind of what I thought it
collected
was.
all the mail and tried his best to make up for lost time. Percy was already there waiting for him. And so was Sir Topham Hatt.
And so was out of focus Sir Topham Hatt.
James was worried what he would say about him not being patient and waiting for the mail. Ah, there you are, James, said Sir Topham Hatt. I've heard from several of the station masters that you've done a good night's work, Sir Topham Hatt smiled. I've also heard
There goes the
that
text
there was
off the
at Wellsworth
speech bubble,
Station,
though.
he added.
Again.
But you put things right and have made sure that all the mail arrived on time.
I want to
You
go on
once
record and
again
also, like...
proved to me that you are a really useful engine.
I don't know that much about, I don't know that much about game development, game design, whatever.
Puffed Percy excitedly.
But I've worked in Blender a little bit, and not in
James
Unreal
felt
Engine, which is
so
what this game is
proud.
developed
He
in.
thought his boiler would
But-
burst.
I do feel like, and that's the end. I do feel like it's actually harder, like the blur on Sir Topham Hatt's face. I feel like it's harder to have a bug like that than it is to not have a bug like that. Like, that implies that, like, I think they tried to add some kind of, like depth blur. So, like, the background would have been a little bit blurred, so that the focal point would have been on Sir Topham Hatt, but they accidentally did it reversed. I think, like, inherently, there's no blur. So, like, if you look at these two trains in the station, there's no blur between the background, and, like, nothing is out of focus. You have to actually, I think you have to actually manually add the background, like, the focus element to make the background blurry and the foreground not blurry, right? So they actually intentionally added that depth blur, seemingly, or that focus blur, but they added it wrong, so the background is perfectly crisply in focus and the main character is out. It's weird. I don't know. But return home, replay scenario. Return home. So yeah, that is the end of Thomas and Friends Wonders of Sodor. Big hour-long finale here. Vickerstown Jack Frost, Vickerstown Yard, Shunting Showdown, going along the rails here. Emily and the Express in Kelsthorpe Road Station. Knapford, you have your Thomas and Gordon, Thomas and Birdie, Percy's Troublesome Day Part 1, Branching Out, Leaves, First Class Engine. So yeah, that was a hike. So we started over here in Knapford, seemingly, and went all the way across the island of Sodor, and ended right here in Vickerstown. So that was quite a journey, that last story there. But Tidmouth Sheds, we got Gordon in the Troublesome Trucks, James in the Van, both completed. Elsbridge, Thomas Goes Fishing. Farquhar, I think is Introduction to Sodor. Farquhar Quarry. Percy's Troublesome Trucks Day 2, or Troublesome whatever. So yeah, I guess the next question is, what is over here? I guess it's the mainland. What is over there, and are we eventually going to get DLC that takes us over there? Because there is a rail. It looks like there's a rail line that goes over there. So, and the last game or story ended in Vickerstown Yard, or in Vickerstown. So, makes sense that the next story, if there's more DLC to come, would take us over into that new region. And I also do, like I said before, I do want to point out also that if you look over here where my cursor is, it says Thomas and Friends. It does not say Wonders of Sodor. And when you load into the game, it doesn't say Wonders of Sodor. It just says Thomas and Friends. So to me, that kind of almost implies that there's going to be more, and this is going to be the building point. And I'm hoping, since I bought the deluxe edition, that I'm going to get all the, if there's any additional DLC. It already came with the James add-on. But if there's any additional DLCs, I'm hoping it's going to come bundled in that deluxe edition that I paid for. So we'll see. But I don't even know if there's going to be more DLC. Hopefully the install base for this game is high enough that it warrants more DLC and expansion on the game. But that's the whole story, guys. That's the whole story mode of Thomas and Friends Wonders of Sodor here on the Xbox Series X, including the James add-on. Thank you so much for watching. I'm not going to give a full review because I already gave a full review of the base game, and the extra 4 stories of the James add-on didn't change that review, really. It re-solidified some of my complaints in terms of like checkpoints and stuff like that, but nothing really changed. Overall, had a great time with the game. It was still pretty short, but that's just the story mode. There's plenty of more stuff to do. We got times tables, which I don't know what that is, but we're going to find out at some point. We've got challenges and collectibles. So I think there's like free play. We got 3 of the 20 whistles. No Thomas books, but that's kind of fun that you can collect Thomas books. Conductor hats, paintings. Haven't done any of that yet. A photo gallery. News for the real Sodor adventurer. No news yet. Come back later. So maybe that's going to be like DLC announcements and stuff like that. I don't know. And then settings, yeah, obviously. But yeah, that's that. And there are all 6 of the playable characters, including James, because I have the add-on. I guess if you had the base games, you would just have these 5. Gordon, Percy, Thomas, Emily, and Diesel. But yeah, we'll see. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel here on Pause Games on YouTube, and ring that bell for notifications for when I upload new video content to the channel. Right now, at the time I'm recording this, I upload new video content every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to the channel, but I'm looking at potentially upping that to every single weekday, so Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. So maybe by the time you're watching this, that change will have already taken place. But regardless, thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button, leave me a comment in the comment section below, and until next time, I'm John from Pause Games, and remember, never pause.